Well, hi everyone, it's Paul Akers and it's the end of 2015, and last year, if you remember, I had an end of year message, and the message was very simple: get on the shop floor, find out the burden that you're putting on your people, and unless you're on the shop floor feeling that burden, feeling what you're putting your people through, you have no clue. You know, it harkens back to what Deming talked about, that all problems are really with management. If the top leadership doesn't get it, they don't understand what's really going on, you're never going to solve the problems. Well, that was last year's message. This year's message, I have a different thought. If lean is not affecting the nitty-gritty of everything you do every day, you don't understand lean. Let me explain. If lean has not reached into your sock drawer, you don't have a clue about lean. If lean has not affected the way you organize your drawer in your office, you don't have a clue about lean. Lean needs to affect the nitty-gritty of what you do every day. You know, I meet leaders all over the world and they do all these great lean projects, but then when you get into their actual life, it's a disaster. Their house is a disaster. The way they manage their day-to-day routines in their life is a disaster. There's been no effect of lean on those processes. I'm telling you, the real essence of lean is when it affects the nitty-gritty. I'll tell you a powerful story. I'll never forget this story. I was touring a Lexus supplier in Japan, and it was one of the most incredible places I've ever been. And one of the U-shaped cells that's really famous, it's actually on TV, you can see it. There's this one gal, she moves around to all these different processes, and they measure it down to 1/10 of a second, and it's just magic, and you just watch it. Well, I was with the president of that company, and I asked him, I said, do you do lean at home? And he looked at me and said, never. I go home, I don't have any time for that. I just want to completely chill out and not think about everything. And I said, are you kidding me? You don't have a clue what lean's about. Lean should affect and improve everything. Why shouldn't you go home and experience the benefits of lean at home? But some people separate the two, and I think that is the biggest mistake ever. So this year's message is, does lean affect the nitty-gritty of what you do every day? And if it does, you're on the right track. If it doesn't, you're clueless. You know, I think of a couple people right now off the top of my head. Greg Glebe, Xylem Design. You know, Greg found a way to magnetically keep his shaver in the shower by taking the back of his tile and putting a magnet in the back of it so you can't see it, and the shaver just sits there magnetically. It's incredible. Affecting the nitty-gritty. You know, I think of Philippe in Portugal, and the way he's applied lean, and the way he keeps his bathrooms and his toilets clean, and the way he applies lean to everything he does. And he just posted an email on how he manages his emails. And Nick Cosell, the same thing. You're always seeing Nick Cosell down at Walters and Wolf come up with all these cool little improvements affecting the nitty-gritty of what he does every day. Now, he's leading a huge organization with like 1,800 employees. You would say he doesn't have time to think about those things. If you don't have time to think about those things, you're freaking clueless. I don't know what else to say. Does lean affect the nitty-gritty of what you do every day? What does your sock drawer look like? For me, one of the things that lean affected was my health. I wrote a book called Lean Health. I think lean needed to affect the way I took care of my body. It should affect everything in your life. And if it doesn't, you don't know the power of lean. Thanks a lot. Have a great 2016. We'll see you next year.